Hi everyone, welcome to the Piano Keys. I'm so glad that you're here. This is my first practice time for the Bohemian Rhapsody easy piano version that I arranged. If you don't have the music already, I suggest that you go get it. The link is in the description box. Even if you don't read music, because this is a really long song with lots of different parts. So you need some kind of map to follow visually. And so if you get the sheet music, you can make notes on it. Notes, huh? Not trying to be punny, but notes like you can take notes from what I say, like play a C here with whatever. So it will give you a visual reference to follow when you're not watching the video. It'll make it much, much easier for you to learn the song. You can slow down the speed of this video if you need to see what I'm doing slower. And just one thing I want you to keep in mind, even though this is a really large piece of work, remember that when we learn in sections, we take in small pieces and feed it to our muscles and our brains. It's a lot easier to handle. So the reason I'm saying that is because I don't want you to get discouraged. Yes, there's a long way to go, but we're going to do it together, and I know that you'll be able to learn it if you stick with it. All right. If you want to learn how to play Bohemian Rhapsody, easy piano version, then keep watching. So we're starting on the first measure, and I'm going to work on this one section at a time. I'm doing the first section as measures 1 through 7. So if you get the sheet music, it will really help you, because this is a long song and there's so many different sections. It's not the typical pop song that like has a verse and a chorus and a bridge. It just goes all over the place, which is part of its genius. But it also makes it more difficult to learn and to memorize. So get the music. Even if you don't necessarily read sheet music, this will help you to start to learn, but also you can make notes for yourself, like this is what happens here and so on. Okay, let's do the left hand first. I'm going to start on D. And remember, this is like a practice time. I'm not telling you all the notes that I'm playing because it's just too long. It would take me hundreds of hours to put that together. I'm going to do measures 1 through 7. I'm going to practice this. Now here I have fermatas. So the fermata is that thing that kind of looks like an I that's over the notes, and it tells you hold those notes longer than normal, and there's not a set time that you can hold them. So I hold those notes a little bit longer, and then here's another fermata. When I go around here, I don't go over necessarily or around. I just kind of hook my finger on that black key and I stretch. As you can see, the stretch between your thumb and your second finger is pretty long. Mine is longer than probably most people's because I've been practicing on that, but you can still stretch there. The reason I say that is because you're going to come back to that same note, so you don't really want to be like coming over here and then having to find it again. Okay, so it looks like this. And then you might hear airplanes flying overhead. I live in the flight path of an airport. So let me do that one more time. Hooking on. So that's the left hand. Now let's do the right hand. Sometimes people have trouble playing chords so that they sound all together. So you might be hearing yourself do something like that, or I don't know. The reason for that is because our fingers are different lengths, and if we just let them do their own thing, they will go down whenever they want. Whenever the longest one goes down, that'll be first, and then the second longest, and so on. So what you want to do is kind of compensate for the shape of the chord as well as for the lengths of your fingers, and think about putting down the weight of your arm spread evenly into your hand. So in this case, my fourth finger is a weak finger, so it might happen that my thumb wants to go down first, like that. Right? So what I do is I kind of energize my fourth finger, and I think about almost putting that one down first, and the other guys come with it. So think about putting your fourth finger down, and the other two will come together. Okay? And then as you're lifting, don't do this. Okay? I see that so many times in beginner pianists, just kind of slapping at the keys. Keep touching the keys and let the weight of your arm fall into the keys. Notice that my wrist is bending. Okay, so that means my wrist has to be relaxed. That might take some practice. I'm doing a technique workshop soon, which will be addressing all this stuff. So if you find that your technique is really preventing you from playing the way you want to play, send me an email and I'll put you on the list of people to get info. From there, I'm going to move on to the next measure, measure 2. Same idea, always using the weight of my arm. Here's what it looks like when it's wrong. Don't do that. Don't pound the keys. You want to have that sense of freedom in your wrist. All right, measure 3. There's your fermata, another fermata. All right, moving on. I'm going to put the hands together, really slow like that. No pedal just yet. So far, both hands have been playing at the same time. Now that's going to change a little bit. If you are reading the fingering that's on the sheet music or watching my fingering and you copy it and it doesn't feel good, you want to try something else, feel free. There are many options for fingering. I wrote down one and I'm following the one that I wrote on the sheet music, but I can just as easily use different fingering, but I'm going to keep it consistent. So don't feel like this is the only right fingering. It's not. All right, back up and watch that if you need to. I'm going to go a little bit faster, just the same section. Practicing in sections is the best, most reliable, and the fastest way to learn. Don't sit and play from beginning until the end or until you get tired. You're not exactly wasting time, but you're not using it in the most productive way if you do that. So I'm going to go faster. about a little faster than that. Okay, now I think I'm ready to add the pedal. So if you have the sheet music, you'll see exactly where the pedal is changing and where it's lifting and so on. If you're looking at the sheet music, the weird fancy looking P and then ED, that means put down the pedal. The straight line means hold down the pedal. And the vertical line at the end means pick it up entirely. And don't put it down again until you see that pedal sign again. The upside down V means change it. So if you don't know what that means, you need to stop here and go watch my pedaling tutorial. It's a lot to teach, and I can't do it while I'm also doing this. So I'll just tell you where I'm changing and lifting. So I put down the pedal along with my fingers. Then I pick up so that I have a pause, a silence. All right, and then put together. Now change, and then lift again. And then put down, change, 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 and then lift up here. Down, change, 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 change. Okay, so I'm going to do that much without talking with the pedal at the appropriate speed. All right, moving on to the next section. So I'm going to do measures 8 through 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm not going to do the last beat of 14 because that starts the next phrase. So 8 through 3 beats of 14. So let's do the left hand. So here too, again now, if you're right hand dominant, this is going to be a little bit tricky for you, especially because we're using the 5th finger. So remember in the right hand, I said kind of tilt toward your weak finger. It's going to be the same thing here. You're going to tilt, not literally, you're not going to play like that, but kind of a little bit in your hand, but mostly it's in your mind. You want to feel like the outer part of the hand, like the pinky part, is heavier than the other part, so it kind of pulls you down a little bit. So, like that. So you don't want to play like this. There's no need to. This way. I'm still keeping my fingers round. I'm not doing this. Oh my gosh, don't play like that. But I'm not keeping it like it's frozen solid. I can shift a little bit like that. And then it's the same thing here. Shifting toward your weak finger, 4th finger. Like that, okay? Moving on to measure 10. Stop there. You know, on YouTube, you can go into the settings and slow down the speed of this video if this is too fast for you. Go to 0.75 and you can watch me play a lot slower and it'll still sound good. It's not going to be like a weird garbled sound. So do that if that was too fast for you. I'm going to move on to the right hand. Okay, so we're going to have the same thing here. This thing, you can lean toward your pinky. Lean toward your fourth finger. We do that again. Now here, if you're looking at the sheet music, you see there's a chord with a wavy line in front of it. The wavy line tells you to play that chord like this. So you're breaking it up like an arpeggio. You can play it all together if you want, but it's cool like this. So you practice that slowly, going like that. And then little by little, you go faster. Okay, you might need to do it slowly for a long time. One clue I will give you is touch the keys before you play them. So you don't want to do this. That's not a good way. So touch the keys, feel them under your fingers, make contact with your skin, and then just kind of like a steamroller, like that. Just roll over the keys. So you see I'm touching them. Okay? Now I'm going to put the hands together starting at measure 8, no pedal. Here's that arpeggio. Okay, I'll go a little bit faster. Touch the keys. Okay, now I'll add the pedal. So I was holding the pedal from before. I'm going to change it right when I play. I've already put down the pedal. Change. 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 Up. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down, up. So you want those silences in between, right? Easy come, easy go. You don't want easy come, easy go, right? That's not how the song goes. So that's why you want to approximate the vocals here. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, now down, change, 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 and then hold the pedal, and then here's our arpeggio. I'm going to do that faster without talking. Alright, so that's the bare bones. Now, you notice that when I'm just playing it and showing you the notes, I'm not really putting in any sort of musical interpretation. But when I play it without talking, you can hear that things are happening. I'm getting louder, I'm getting softer, and so on. One thing that is kind of an overarching rule is you want the melody to stand out from the accompaniment, from the chords. In this case, the melody is here in the right hand. Do you hear how they're not playing at the same level? If I played both hands at the same level, it would sound like this. And it's kind of hard to tell from that soup of sound what I should be listening to as a listener. So I keep the left hand much lighter than the right hand. Okay, that's a lot easier to say than to do. And again, these are the things that we're going to work on in the technique workshop. So if you're finding things that are stopping you, you know, that you're like, I can't, how do I do that? I can show you, but I can't show you in a video or two. You need to let me work with you, okay? So email me. All right, so I'm keeping the right hand heavier and the left hand lighter. Here, right hand heavy, left hand light. Now in this case, it gets even more tricky because the right hand is playing the melody, but it's also playing a harmony, right? So I'm gonna, again, remember when I said lean toward the little finger? In this case, it's really gonna help you because it's gonna help you bring out the melody note. I'll play it without bringing out the melody note. You can hear that. Here it is with bringing out the melody note. Do you hear the difference? Here it is playing everything equal. We're playing everything equal. I'm trying not to bring out the melody. Okay, here it is bringing out the melody. I hope you can hear the difference. All right, I'm going to play the whole thing from the beginning. Here we go. Okay, that's it for today's practice time. How'd you do? Pretty good? It's not so hard, right? When you take a little bit at a time. Now I know this is the easiest part of the song, but we're gonna do it together. Let me know how you're doing, okay? Keep practicing, have fun, and I will see you soon. Bye.